when coming to the second program is more for specified economic activities. This program is for the applicants who are self-employed and who have cultural or athletic experience. This is designed to not only stimulate economic activity, but it also enhances the artists, the athletic and cultural fabric, artistic and athletic and cultural fabric of Canada. So these are the people who have been in self-employed in particular specified economic activities such as cultural activities. They may be movie producers, they may be movie actors, or they may be high famed athletes who are known not only in their own country but in other countries as well. So this, and then they're coming to Canada, would add to the cultural fabric of Canada. So this program targets those people. And it is again point-based program. There's 100 points grid, and an applicant must score at least 35 to qualify for this program. It takes around 2 years for this. So to immigrate as a self-employed person, one should be willing and able to be self-employed in Canada. One should be able to meet the selection criteria depending on various factors and meet the security, medical, and other inadmissibility conditions. Now, in this relevant experience for self-employed person, they look at a period window of 5 years when they are looking, when the authorities are determining or adjudicating your application. So during those 5 years, you should be actively involved in that business. So if you submit an application today and it takes a 1 year, 1.5 years, by the time that the officer starts looking at the application, from that period backwards in 5 years, you should have been actively involved in that self-employment. Now, this slide tells about how cultural and other athletic activities are defined. So they are divided into periods. So you can have at stretch 2 years of experience, or 1 years of periods during the eligibility period. They may also count towards this. Now, these points, the self-employed persons, they are evaluated or assessed on the basis of their self-employment experience, education, age, language abilities, and adaptability. So in this particular program, you must have the evidence to establish your experience as a self-employed person, experience in sports, experience in cultural, artistic activities. You should have evidence of that to establish your credentials, and you should be deriving income from this. It is not possible that you are an actor, a part-time actor, but yes, you are a national fame actor, but your income is not sufficient, and you are doing something else 90% of your times to make your ends meet. No. You should be a self-employed person engaged in that business, and your activities should be at least that meaningful that you have made it your profession. You're earning income through this program. Self-employed programs, naturally, this applies to all other programs as well. That you're medically, you are fed security. There's no security risk for Canada, and there are no criminal charges against you, or you have never been convicted. So if you have any of those things, then naturally you do not qualify for any of the immigration programs, including the programs which we discussed today. And the last slide, last program I would like to discuss, I've already referred to it in the beginning, is an owner and an operator work permit. So you are coming to Canada on a work permit. You like the business, you say, for example, like the franchise, or you like another business which you said I would buy, and you have a background in that business. For example, you have been involved in a business in laundry back home, and you had that business, and now you buy a laundry house in Canada. You can make up your case and say that, all right, this is the business I have bought, and now I want to come to Canada to operate my business. So based on that, there's an application process with initially with the Employment and Social Development Canada or Service Canada. We have to apply to them to show that Canadian business, because once that business would be in Canada, and that's a Canadian business, and that the government is responsible for providing all the human resource needs of that business. So if you apply that this is my Canadian business, or the Canadian business applies, and they say that I want to hire this individual because the business will be a separate legal entity, if it is a corporation or an LLC or a limited liability company or an incorporated company, then that business applies on your behalf and since you are 100% owner of that business petitions that I want to hire Mr. So-and-so to run to run that business. And based on that, you can come on a work permit and live in Canada and legally work in Canada. Once you're on work permit, your children could go to school. You may have access to health facilities, and later on, you have to find a way how to transition to permanent residence. Work permit itself doesn't lead to automatically to permanent residence, but then you have to use another vehicle or another program to do for this. So in summary, these 6 points: you select a business, you enter an agreement to purchase that business, which shows that that's not a collusion, or you have found a business, you have actively offered, and the offer was accepted by a Canadian seller. And then you have the evidence to prove it. Then you apply for labor market impact assessment process, in which you go to the Service Canada or ESTC, and your business goes there and they apply for an approval for you. Once that approval is granted, you apply to the federal government for work permit, and then come to Canada to run that business. Now, thank you very much. So these are a few aspects which I wanted to bring to your attention today. Now, I know this is a broad field. We will open the session for questions and answers, but generally, what we do at the end of it, most of the questions are answered generally, but every case is different, and people have different specific questions which they do not wish to discuss in an open forum. And there's, of course, confidentiality and conflict of interest involved during the question and answer session. I won't be able to specifically advise on specific circumstances of an individual. We can have a general discussion. But then once you need specific legal advice and you want to see whether you are the person who can have access to one of these programs, then we suggest that we hold a comprehensive, specific assessment of your situation. And then we conduct a formal meeting with you, one-to-one, in which you put all the information before us, and then we, after discussing various aspects, then we advise you on a particular program. I always advise clients to make sure they're not jumping into any arrangement without understanding the program, because no one can make up a case if there's no case in it. If you are not an individual who has business experience, it's advisable not to take that position that you have business experience, because down the road, during the process, you have to provide comprehensive evidence of that. If you are unable to provide evidence, then your application is likely to fail. What I have seen that the individuals, they want to take people in their office. They just want to be retained, and without looking at the merits of the case, they very happily charge money and provide the clients innocently provide money to different agents or consultants, or sometimes foreign lawyers as well. And then at the end of the process, you realize that there was nothing available for you. So it's better to spend $500 at this stage to know your chances. If you have no chances, then don't waste your money and time or resources in this. It is very frustrating, because you start hoping, and then ultimately you realize that your case was not strong enough to be taken, to be allowed permanent residence. So in this session, we would hold an assessment, and we would conduct your interview, and then we'll have an in-person consultation. If after all that consultation and looking at your specific evidence, we believe that you have some kind of pathway available, only then you should enter into a retainer agreement. And if you retain our firm after that consultation, then we would adjust that $500 fee, US dollars fees, towards your case fee for it. And otherwise, if you have no chance, you have spent $500, but you have saved yourself from spending another $20,000, $25,000 for a case which was not good enough. Now, my contact information is at the end of this presentation. You can approach Georgina, Rudy, or myself on my email ID, or you can call our partners, or you can call our office, and we'll be very glad to assist you in this. Now, that's all from my side today, and I would now like to hand over the floor to Georgina, so she could, take the program further from here.